some of the strong traits that you have as a leader are leading by example and really listening to people, making yourself accessible. Would you say that's some of the most important skills or traits that a leader should have, or is there any piece missing there?
No, I think that is important skills. My bosses were always available to me. I think that maybe they thought, well, she doesn't know what she's doing, so we have to make sure we help her. But that wasn't always the case because I moved up the ladder. But they were always there for me. You might have to make an appointment, but if I had an idea or a question, I just had to have it well thought out. And not necessarily in a formal business plan, but sometimes it was. That was part of what we learned, and we strategized our departments every year. We had a business plan, and we were held to those results in order to move forward and get raises and promotions, et cetera. So that's really what it is. And sometimes they're formal, like a business relationship, and sometimes they're not. They're just your neighbor or your friend or your friend's daughter that you've known since you was a child, and you want to help be successful or help if they need something, whatever it is. Sometimes they need a recommendation on a doctor, or they need a recommendation on a real estate agent. There's a ton of things that they're so easy to come up with. People aren't asking you to write them a check for $1 million. Very rare that anybody, I'm not saying people haven't asked me for that, but for the most part, it's not the young people that I advise. It's really what they need or the connections to get whatever it is that they need done. And so we keep moving along on that path. But it isn't, not every project has to be this big. Mm-hmm. As I said, Build-A-Bear started with one store. I happened to be able to purchase this plot of land for a reasonable price. It wasn't that part that was the expensive part. It's the, remodeling and renovation that costs so much, and then making sure that you can afford it, that you can pay for it, that, you're not going to close it 2 years after you open it. That's a whole nother, story that happens sometimes in projects like this, or that other people want to come and buy it from you, and they won't operate it the same way that you will. But we have it set up differently here so that it will be this forever. It'll always need to be, painted and touched up. But we hope that the second phase, which will be, more offices and apartments, will make this more permanent and make it. It's a whole city block. It's really pretty special to have found this. And when I thought I couldn't get it, people tried to talk me out of it because they said, oh, there's smaller buildings you can find. No, it has to be here. This is a corner. It was an important corner. It was a big hospital. Famous people were born here. This is going to be what's going to change the way people think about Del Mar, and it has done that. I rarely hear people talk about the divide anymore. I think we've done a good job of that, and of course all the other things that are coming down Del Mar. But now the next divide is Page Avenue and then Martin Luther King, and moving north, we will fix those too.
Are you thinking of doing future projects that are similar to this one?
No, different. But yes, a renovation, a reimagination of a building. One of the things that I believe strongly in St. Louis is its history and culture. And as a businesswoman, I admired, I didn't even, I knew about them, but I didn't know deeply about Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Malone, that they were the first two millionaires. And they happened to be black women from St. Louis. And they were in the beauty business, and I was a merchandiser. I merchandised beauty in my career, and I knew about them. And so I really thought, at the same time I had the idea for this building, I had an idea for another building in the Ville where we would become an incubator for black beauty businesses all over the country to come here and be the place they would ship from, produce from, everything. Because we had a lot of manufacturing here opportunity as well. And so I still want to do that. I know more about them now than I knew about them then, and I know more about the Ville than I knew then, and it's so much a part of its history and culture. It's our Harlem, if you will. And how can we reinvigorate from our history, from things that happened here, from icons that lived here and started an industry? How could we go back and play that up and be known for that without it happened. It's a fact. So we didn't make the most of that, I don't think, because I think they were black women and it wasn't as well known as it should have been. But in the beauty business, they're well known, and they happened here in the Ville. So I think that's an opportunity for us that I'm working on. I have a building that I can see that becoming that. I have no idea inside if it needs $100 million or $10 million, but soon I'm going to be doing that. Soon I'm going to get further into it so I can know that. And I've already started some of the work on it. And then one of our tenants here is I Thrive, who has vans that go around, does eye checkups at school, and they have a van. They moved here because they wanted to be part of this community, but we didn't have a place for their van. And as I've known her and have talked, she belongs to an agency, a group called Mobile Health Vehicles Association, and it's actually based in St. Louis, the national organization. And we were talking about this, and I said, well, maybe we could build a hub for these vehicles that do such good. They bring healthcare to people. And we could build it so that we would have room for like maybe 20, and we'd have a gas station on one end and a car wash on the other, because those are really hard to get for a truck. You have to go all the way out to West County to get your truck washed. So, how could we bring that in and take some property, not necessarily in the city of St. Louis, might be in Normandy or on Page Avenue, and take an old car dealership or an old Midas muffler or Telly tire that has the bays and figure that out. So we're actually actively looking for a space for that. And it doesn't have to be here, but it needs to be in proximity because of the centralization. And we might not find a lot that will hold the gas station and the car wash, but we're working on that. And I think that that one is needed because these vehicles are really valuable, and you want to have them secure, and you want to have a place where the mechanic can also be there. So I'm thinking about put some feelers out to find a local young person who works in auto mechanics, talk to people at Rankin Tech. We would put them in business to help us. It would be their shop. I mean, they would own the car repair part of it. They would just be paying us rent, maybe not. Because everybody has somebody that does that, and they're few and far between to find now. If you have a generator, it's hard to get the generator repaired. So we're learning all this. I mean, once somebody tells me about this, and I know how much good they do, and I know that we can bring healthcare to people, it makes a lot of sense. It's sort of not telemedicine, but sort of car medicine, auto medicine. You bring that vehicle there. So if we can make people healthier by bringing the healthcare to them that already exists in our community, but make sure that the vehicles are safe and well taken care of and centrally located so they can get north, south, east, and west just like they want to. So that's a project that sort of came to me this past year, but we're actively working on that for her, and that will bring other people together. And made it a lot easier when the National Association is right here in town, right? They have an interest in it as well. So maybe we could make it their headquarters too. Their offices would be there. Who knows? We're not that far, but we're just trying to find the space to make sure we can cover somewhere between 2 to 5 cars. And if we find a bigger space, because that's what they told us, you're not going to find a place that big. But I did see one. It's just way far north, and we don't want to be that far north. It needs to be more centrally located. So that's an idea. And the reason I'm telling you these, and I tell them to other people, is once you put it out there in the universe, people go, oh yeah, I have another idea for you, or you could do this, or let me introduce you to so and so. If you never tell anybody your ideas, it just sits in your little head, and it doesn't go as far as it could. And I think that's one of the reasons I've always done that. Build-A-Bear I shared with kids and people, and they added so much more value. This project, people told me people that could move here. By the way, you can appreciate this. We thought we were going to open a lot earlier than we did because it was so much more complex, but we leased it to a whole group of people in the office space, and then they needed to move faster than we were moving, so we had to start leasing it again. And it ended up working out really, really well. That the tenants that we have, a third are education, a third are mental health and health in general, and then a third are community development. And you need all those things to repair a community that's lived through so many things like St. Louis, and we will get there. We will get there because we have all of those things here represented in the building. Now, there's many more that make up a community, but they all have tentacles with all those organizations. So we can bring people together pretty quickly in an emergency if we had one. Hopefully we won't have too many, but in a problem-solving opportunity that we might see on literacy or on this vehicle challenge. The other idea, the Innovative Center for Beauty in St. Louis. I wish we would have started this earlier, but through Arch Grants, we've also brought on several companies in the beauty business that I think would be great examples to thrive there. And you have to make it so that it's worth their while, because they're starting out, they have no money. So you have to have it funded properly, and that's a little bit more complex than just building a building and charging people rent.